fate. How does fate affect us? Destiny. We think sometimes we get hung up on, okay, this is what I'm going through and it's my fate, it's my destiny, there's nothing else I can do. And first of all, there are some truth to that. Second of all, you can change that. Third of all, there is no power in thinking this way. So you are making yourself powerless by thinking that it is probably my fate or destiny. So I'm studying Kabbalah. It is a spiritual modality, very ancient spirituality. They explain that there are actually time and life is not linear as we see it. There are multi-dimensions of life. So we have infinite possibilities of life, and every life is pre-written. So the life that you're living right now, imagine it's here, and it's pre-written from beginning to the end. So you can say there is some destiny here and fate. But there are infinite number of lives below and above, infinite. And they're all written. But you can tap into another life, which has a different destiny. Your fate can change. How do you do that? Again, everything comes down to consciousness, understanding, awareness, spirituality. Mindset is part of spirituality, mindset work. I don't want to go deep into Kabbalah and spirituality because we're going to be here for another 24 hours. And I love this subject. How do we change the subconscious mind? Great question. So the paradigm, so Bob calls it, so this is the subconscious, and also the subconscious is connected to the universal mind. That is where some of the intuition comes from. Basically, we are connected because we are part of that infinite intelligence. So we have all the answers within us, but the subconscious is covered with our paradigm. So the question is, how do we change the paradigm? The programming. First of all, we need to understand, where does this paradigm come from? I kind of explained from childhood. So it comes in two ways. First, through our genes. That's why we become like our parents. And the older we get, the more we look like our parents in terms of our behavior, our mindset. Our paradigm comes from our genes. And the second way, through our upbringing, as I just mentioned, since we are born till the age of 6 and 7, we've been programmed by repetition of ideas. Now, how do we change that paradigm? Who wants to change their paradigm, by the way? Everybody should raise their hand. And it is a life, 2 hands, Harmon, lifelong journey. We always want to change our paradigm. The first way is through an emotional impact. It is like boom, like shock, like something happens to your system, either an horrible accident, near-death experiences, God forbid, losing some loved one, a horrible divorce, something shocking to your system can change your paradigm. Because you get to the point, I don't know if you have talked to people like that, you get to the point sometimes that people are like, I have nothing else to lose. Like, this was so hard. I'm going to go full force after my dream. And they change their whole system. It happens automatically. And it is usually through a negative impact. Okay? The second way, and the most effective way of changing paradigm, remember how you learned your language? Remember how if you want to learn a new language, what does it take? You change your paradigm through constant repetition of new ideas over and over again with the help of an experienced mentor. Because it is not just about transfer of information and knowledge. It is not about I tell you something new and you get this information and you change. It is about application, daily, weekly, monthly, and accountability. The same way that we learn a new language, repetition. And let me tell you something. The mind resists the idea of repetition so much. Why? Because we never been told that we have to do this. We have to repeat an idea over and over and over again. We've been told that you read a book, you pass your test, you read it maybe 2 times, and that's it. That doesn't change anything in the subconscious. Constant spaced repetition of new ideas. That's what is going to change your subconscious mind. So right now, all of your results, think about the amount of money you're earning, the success or lack of it in your business, the quality of your relationships with your family, with your partner, with your children, with your whoever, with your friends. Everything that you are experiencing in your life comes from your self-image. And you can never outperform your self-image. No matter how hard you work, you always get the results that are in harmony with your self-image, with your identity. And what is that self-image? It is not the way you look like, although it can be part of it. People who have a stronger self-image, usually they look put together, they take care of their appearance much more than other people. That's just a part of it though, the physical appearance. Your self-image is your idea about yourself, your opinion about yourself. Think about the standards in your life. It is always so easy to go find the cheapest store. It is easy to live off of coupons or wait for discounts. And I'm not saying just anything wrong with that, although I'm kind of saying, because it is your standard. What is your standard in life? What do you tolerate? That's what you get. Do you tolerate economy flights? That's what you get. Or do you not tolerate economy flights and you say, my standards is business class flights, at least, if not first class. And make it your standard and make it part of your self-image. And you work on that self-image day after day. It comes from your self-worth. What are you worthy of? What is your furniture in your home? What is your closet look like? And these might sound very superficial, but it is part of your self-image. It is how much you value yourself. If we tolerate small things, discounted things, secondhand things, economy flight, then your mind is not going to find all the ways to make that extra $500,000 a year because there's no need for it. You can live off of cheap things. It's a one way of living. What is this quote? Always Bob says, I'm gonna paraphrase it, of course. He says, there is a one way of living which is easy, living cheap, but it's not fun. It is more fun when you raise your standards and you raise your self-worth and you start making more money. Money always comes based on your standards. I've experienced that so many times in life. If I decide I want to do something, even though if it is out of my budget and I haven't done it before. Like the very first time I got on a business class flight many years ago, the first time was so scary. Like, oh my God, so much money. And you're still in the same plane and you can do so much less and get to the same destination. But it is such a different experience. And it helps you. Why? Because then you have tapped into a new version of you, new self-identity, and you only think about ways to make more money to afford this new lifestyle. Because when you get there, believe me, when you go on business class, it is so painful to go back to economy. So painful. And I have done that. I'm not going to do that anymore. Any flight over 1 hour, it has to be business class. And you know what? You think, oh, it's so scary, so much money. You still find a way. Money always comes based to your needs. So raise your standards. One thing that really, really motivates me, gets me up 5:30 a.m. in the morning every day, makes me work on my business, not work hard, but work, sometimes do uncomfortable things, to create videos and going live. And the thing that motivates me is when I think about when I want to live long. I want to live like in my 100 years. I think about, like, I'm 100 years old and it is the last few days of my life and I'm old and I can't do much. And I look back at my life. Did I tiptoe through life? Did I play it safe? Did I just work hard to pay the bills? Or did I go after my dreams? Did I take the risk? Bob said, this is such a wrong sentence that we've been told. It is better to be safe than sorry. Oh, you're gonna regret if you play it safe in life. It is not better to play safe than sorry. It is better to go after your dreams and at the end of your life say, I went after my dreams. I did everything and I had ups and I had downs and I had adventure and I failed and I stood up. And don't don't tiptoe through life. Be bold, be courageous, take action. You're not alone. God is with you, supporting you all along. It's just he or she is just waiting for you to take the steps. You're living in a world of free will. God cannot do everything for you. You need to make a decision to change things for yourself. You need to stop thinking about lack and scarcity and holding so tight into your money. Money needs to be in circulation. Money needs to be in circulation. Invest in yourself. Invest in your wardrobe. Invest in your personal development. Join thinking into results. What is 10K in your whole life? There are two types of people who join these kind of free events. Some people who decide to join and invest, although sometimes it's really hard for them. The person, my client that is coming on tomorrow, was one of the people who could not afford it. And she decided to join, and now everything has changed for her. And if you look at it in a span of a life, like if you live whatever many, many years that you live, what is 10K in your whole life? It's nothing. And we spend so much money on so many unnecessary things. And there are other type of people who come, who get motivated, who get excited, and they say, okay, I loved it. I'm going to go work on my mindset and invest in my business. And I look at them 2 years after, 1 year after, they're still at the same place. So you have to think about the cost of not taking action, the cost of not doing the next right step. If what I'm sharing with you resonate, of course. I don't want to work with anyone who is not on the same page as me. But if I am, the things that I'm sharing with you resonate and you understand, and in your heart, something says yes, something in your heart says yes. I know there is some programming in my mind I need to change. Be bold, take action. Money always comes and goes. Your life, your time never comes back. The rest of lesson 2, self-image, and I want you to do this practice after, not now. Close your eyes a few minutes every day and connect with the new version of you. Write down how this new version of you live, think, feel, act, and make decisions in your life and business with as much detail as possible. So remember, I talked about parallel lives. Some people don't get this concept. That's fine. Don't think about parallel lives. Think about your next best version. There is another version of you. I'm sure you're not the same version of you. Hopefully, you're not as 10 years ago, as 20 years ago. Same way, there is another improved version of you in the future. I want you to tap into that version of you. Who is that successful version of you? If you had your dream life right now, how would you think? How would you feel? How would you behave? We've all been through hardship in life, and the hardship is to build another better version of you. It is like, the diamond is made under pressure. Nothing comes from not having pressure in life. I always give this analogy of working out. If you sit on your couch and you don't go to the gym and you don't work out on your muscles, you're not going to have a six-pack. That's the reality. Your six packs or your bicep or your triceps come from pressing your muscles, come from hard work, sweat, and literally through lifting heavy weights, you tear down your muscles and the muscle grow. The same rules that apply to our body and our physique most of the time applies to our spiritual world. Sometimes we fall into this trap of feeling like a victim. I know some people I talk to here on this call, there's so many traumas happen to their life. Lost people, you lost loved ones, failed in businesses, lost money. Nothing is happening to you. No one is punishing you. Everything is happening for you so that through these challenges, it's like going to the gym. If you don't have these challenges, you're not going to grow. How are we supposed to grow and become a best version of ourselves? We don't grow and become stronger personality if everything is the same every day and just we inherit a bunch of money and then life is easy. There's no growth in that. The purpose of life is you are born as one person and you have to leave this world another person. How much are you changing and growing every day? Look at the challenges in your life, appreciate them, say thank you. Thank you for the hardship. This is my opportunity to step up. This is my opportunity to work on my character, to work on my communication skills, to work on my sales skills, to work on my mindset, to become a better version of myself. If you have asked God or universe or whatever you believe in for a better life, for more money, more fulfillment, more success, be ready, because in order for you to get there, you need to go through lessons. It is part of the game. Can you see that? They say, be careful what you wish for, because the moment you wish for something, it is yours. God says yes to you right away. Your higher self wants everything for you, more than what you want. Why not? But then your higher self says, okay, you want this? Let's go. First step, challenges, hardship. Overcome that, next step. Overcome that, next step. It's just all a game. And it might feel hard and challenging. It's just because we don't know how the life works. We don't know the rules of the universe. But we are learning now. Right after we disconnect, take 5 minutes. Everybody has 5 minutes for themselves. Maybe put on some relaxing frequency, music with no lyrics, and close your eyes and connect with the version of you who's already living a successful life. Live your dream life. If you don't know exactly what your purpose is, that's okay. There are some things that you want and you like, living in a particular part of the world, living in a particular kind of house and property, maybe with some nature around, some friends, beautiful relationships, whatever it is. No one can control your imagination. You can control your imagination. And I am going to talk about imagination. People think imagination is like, okay, I close my eyes and I imagine. That's your power. You can change your life with only learning how to use your imagination. Why do you think we can close our eyes and imagine something in the future that we don't have in our physical world? Why do you think God has given us this tool? To use it to create your life.